各位朋友们，大家晚上好。
Good evening, friends.
非常感谢
I'm very appreciative of the Freedom Forum as well as the University of Colorado for organizing this discussion so that I will be afforded this opportunity to communicate with every one of you on the human rights issues.
朋友们对中国的认识
I believe that, friends, here, your understanding of China rests where Beijing, Shanghai, Guangdong, Shenzhen, all these big cities are located.
从经济上说，看到的是
In terms of economy, all you see is the Chinese government brandishing its economic stick over these democratic nations. And those aristocratic elite are wasting money and gold like it is dirt. While your understanding is very superficial in regards to people's inability to afford to send their kids to school, unable to afford the food on their table, and unable to ensure food security and as well as the damage to the environment.
在政治组织形式上，虽然
So although in terms of its political system, it is packaged and also shown in the form of something similar to a democratic society, but in reality, it is very highly monopolized. And some people term it the aristocratic elitism.
目前
So currently the two sessions of the NPC and also the NCC, NPCPC are under session in Beijing. I would like to read you some numbers that I have in my possession.
2014年
The ratio of the representatives of the people in the 2014 NPC is as follows. 60% of these are party, political, and military elites, and 23% of those are the nouveau riche, and 9% of them are professors, chief physicians, and other elite people.
但
4% of these are the grassroots mass. In the proportion of the Chinese population, the ratio of the Chinese population in 2014 is 95% grassroots, and about 3% of those are highly professionals.
先富起来的
And those nouveau riche is about 2%, while the party, politics, and military elites make up 0.02%.
相信我
I
读
believe
完
that
这些
after I'm done reading this list,
大家
you would know
已经知道
what these people
他们代
represent.
表谁了。到目前为止，中共啊，到目前为止，
Up till now, the Chinese Communist Party is still an unregistered organization,
公
brazenly superseding its power over the nation and the country's legal system and the government.
从
From
中
the
央
central
到地
government
方
to the local government,
任何
all the
一级的
number
政
one
府
leader
只
is
是副手
the party
真正的权
secretary,
力
while the leader
掌握
of the
在
government
党委
is
手
only deputy or second to the party's secretary. And all the party secretaries are their number one leaders.
各级的长啊，从省长到村
All the leaders, including the provincial governor to the village heads, are all second to the party secretary.
中共
And the Chinese propaganda committee and also all the local propaganda committees use the media and monopolize the media as a mouthpiece for their propaganda messages. So through its central organization committee and its lower level, local level
任何一
organization committees are authorized to appoint or dismiss officials at all levels. And through its unification department, it tries to unify the thoughts of all the people under its government. Whoever deviates from their central thought would be suppressed and beaten and prosecuted. And through its police force and the judicial branch and also the party branch, it controls all the processes, including the prosecution and the litigation and all the other processes. And through its diplomatic and foreign affairs office, it controls the country's foreign diplomatic relations. And through its military commission, it keeps control of its military forces, the national defense, and it refuses to nationalize the nation's force and make it the only party guardian for its own party. It's therefore easy to understand why people are enslaved under this condition where the nation is kidnapped and the government is held hostage. The Chinese Communist Party is monopolizing all the power in China, and it's truly a power tyrant. So it does not allow other people to organize their own parties, but its own party permeates in every corner of the Chinese society. It is truly a party monopoly. So the sole purpose of arming its military forces to teeth is to keep its ruling as long as it can manage. In the past decade, under the evil grip of the Chinese party's peacekeeping mechanism, there is no justice to talk about in the Chinese society, and its judicial system has been dragged to the pre-Cultural Revolution status. And its mass events or incidents spread throughout the nation. Annually, there are over 200,000 events that involve people of more than 100. And this has made the Chinese Communist Party very uneasy. But in face of this, the Chinese Communist Party, instead of following the will of heaven and the people, continues to impose its violent suppression. There are numerous, countless people, human rights activists, who have been blockaded, house arrested, disappeared, black hooded, black jailed, or mental cased, or even suicided. Years ago, the expenditure that's devoted to peacekeeping has long surpassed the total of military expenses to the amount of 700 billion yuan. Well, this year, they are not even courageous enough to publish such a big expenditure that's devoted against the people. So the Chinese Communist Party, which regards the people as its number one rival, is not rivaled in the whole world. Known that between 2005 and 2012, in the 7 years duration, the Chinese Communist Party spent over 70 million yuan in just confining my whole family. During those dark days, when I was illegally confined in my family, there were friends coming from all over the world, trying by every means possible to come to visit me in my college, Dongshigu village, to visit me, giving me support and help in various manners. And for this reason alone, they were arrested, beaten, and confined by the Chinese communist bandits brazenly. Some of them had sustained broken arms, while others sustained fractured ribs by the kicking, and all their money and their properties were robbed. Following, I would like to show a short video clip of these people who have come to my help and also in renouncement of the Chinese Communist Party's evil deeds.
看到我的观察，就是这样，每天都是这样偷偷摸摸的。我们家的4个角上，他们。
So the 4 of us are there very secretly.
想怎么玩怎么玩。
连9岁的孩子也不放过。
So even a young child like this is not spared.
对，小舅舅我听着。
纠错，你先过来，啊！那谁？
Why can I not go visit this man? Hollywood actor Christian Bale is used to action, but this is no movie set.
We've been stopped.
Plainclothes Chinese security who would not identify themselves determined to stop him and our crew contacting a detained human rights activist.
No, watch it, Christian. Watch it. We're trying to get out of here. Once again, we've been stopped. We've been stopped right here. And as you can see, they're pushing Christian here. We're just trying to leave peacefully. We're trying to leave peacefully. They're not letting us.
As we leave, the guards give chase in their car.
They're still right on our tail.
Christian Bale says this is not what he'd hoped for. He'd made an 8-hour car journey from Beijing to try to meet a personal hero, the blind self-taught lawyer Chen Guangcheng.
You know, I'm not being brave doing this. The local people who are standing up to the authorities and insisting on going to visit Chen and his family and getting beaten up for it, and my understanding is being detained for it and everything. You know, I want to support what they're doing.
Bale has been in China for the premiere of a film he's made here about the Japanese invasion of Nanjing in the 1930s. Bale could have rolled up the red carpet and left, but the actor whose movie is about suffering and injustice could not leave China without highlighting this real-life struggle. Chen Guangcheng has campaigned against alleged forced abortions and the treatment of villagers in China. In 2006, he was sentenced to more than 4 years in prison for disrupting traffic and damaging property. He denies those allegations. Chen has not been allowed to leave his home since his release last year. Local Chinese authorities in Shandong province have his house and local village in lockdown. No one allowed in to see Chen. Authorities here declined to comment on the case. The United States has championed Chen's cause. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton has raised his case during past visits to the region. Christian Bale now wants to add whatever weight he can.
I mean, this doesn't come naturally to me, but this was just a situation I said, I can't look the other way.
Bale has followed CNN's coverage of Chen's case and approached us to try to meet the blind activist. His hopes were high until this.
What I really wanted to do was shake the man's hand and say thank you and tell him what an inspiration he is.
The Chinese security continued to chase us for more than half an hour. We got away. Chen remains locked in his house. Stan Grant, CNN, Shandong, China.
谢谢，谢谢，
Thank you.
谢谢大家。
Thank you very much.
正义
The power of righteousness is unlimited. Where there is no freedom of speech, there will be no truth exposed. And without the efforts made by my friends, I would not have achieved my freedom as I have today.
当年为我
Those
们说
friends who have vocalized their support for me, those friends include 高志成、郭飞雄、刘平、徐志勇、金嘉喜、袁晓华、杨林、郭全、王寇马 are still imprisoned.
国内无数的
There are many people in China who are still fighting for freedom and human rights and who are still working hard to help their friends are still faced with suppression, prosecution, and they still need your support.
我的侄子陈
So
可
my nephew, Chen Guangcheng, who was beaten by those communist bandits who actually used to confine me, they actually climbed over the wall in the middle of the night and started to beat him violently.
就在
And he, at this time, when without self-defense would have been killed by these people, took up a kitchen knife in self-defense, and as a result, he was put in jail for 3 months. He was sentenced for 3 years and 3 months for intentional injury, causing injury and harm to other people. He is now still jailed in the jail that I used to be jailed. And these actual perpetrators of violence never sustained any punishment. So what the message the Chinese Communist Party sent out is that it doesn't matter how violent I beat you, but if you retaliate, you'll be punished.
再大的
These
强权
people in power, no matter how powerful, if they lose the support from these supporters, it will be like a river that's cut off from its source, and it's nothing to be feared.
今天
And today,
中国的
the
民心
support
已
for the
丧失
Chinese
殆尽了
Communist
人
Party
民
has been
正在
squandered,
迅速地
and
觉醒
people are
公民
starting
意识
to awaken,
急剧增
and
长
the people's
为社
consciousness
会
has
变革
rapidly
打下了
been
基础
multiplying. This lays a solid foundation for social reform.
公民
So the acts of the civilians have produced very significant results.
千万
This is illustrated by the fact that the Dongshiguo fortress, which was built up by the Chinese Communist Party by spending tens of millions of dollars, by mobilizing thousands of people to build, will never avert its inevitable fate of being collapsing.
我
I am a blind man from the rural China. In face of the 24-hour strict supervision
迫害
and persecution, I have never lost my faith.
我知道肯定会有办法
I know there is a
解
means
决这些
to fight
反人
against
类者
this
制造的困难
obstacle or difficulty
只是
created
还未找到
by these people who are anti-humanism, but we're still searching for what is there.
事实证明
And fact has given proof that I am free today.
在座的各位各方面
And those people in attendance today, I know that every one of you enjoys a lot of advantage over me. As long as you are willing, I know you will be able to do a much better job than I have done.
做任
So
何
no matter what you are engaged in, don't be frightened by the obstacles before you even start.
05年小分队进村
In 2005, when a team came to my village to conduct forced abortion, I asked them, what legal basis do you have? And these people actually backed away from me. This gives proof to the fact that evil will never overrun righteousness.
人权问题是
Human rights issue concerns everyone and each and every one of you. It is not that you are now sitting in a free world. Human rights issues will not concern you.
其实质
The
是
fact is that if we do not use freedom and democracy and the values thereof to influence autocracy, autocracy would come back to influence democracy and freedom.
为了人类的
Let us join our efforts in fighting for the human freedom, democracy, and human rights, and all these universal values.
Let our light shine from Colorado to China, to world. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.